Hey, what's up, big fellas? Welcome to the first episode of our new podcast, Horseflies and Hand Grenades. I got three buddies of mine here with me in the forest of Vietnam. I got Malcolm, El Toreador,
Hello.
Scummy G, Anthony,
What's up?
and the big, the bold, the beautiful, Sully.
I wouldn't exactly say beautiful, but I'll go with the rest of them.
Neither would I.
It works. It 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 fits.
So what are we going to be talking about today?
Yeah, yeah. Let's move on to that. Let's move on to that. So, in our first episode, we're going to be talking about, or at least starting off with, DLC versus a full game that you buy at one time, I'm assuming.
I think that's changed a lot over the years. Like back in the day, you'd go to a store, you'd buy like a CD or like a game, you'd put it in your console, and then you just have like the whole game. There wouldn't be updates or anything. But then like as online games started and like being able to download them and stuff, you started getting like these updates, and it's been amazing. But the way the companies handle patching those updates in has really varied because sometimes they want to monetize it more. And I think that there's a lot of range for how that could be done and how it is done. And it really does vary a lot between companies. There's a lot to say on it.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely feel a similar way, but I'm very partial to that setup, that system, buying the whole thing at once because when it comes to things like books or video games, I really like the physical copy. Even though we're moving to a lot more digital, like downloading from a cloud and shit to play your games. I just like the hardware, the discs.
I get you. I get you. But how do you update those discs?
I mean, m- most disc-based games, like on consoles, like the Xbox or whatever, you install the game to the hard drive, and then basically it runs like it would a downloaded copy from the internet, and the disc is just like a key that makes it run, right? So I don't think it would be that different. You just download the patches through an internet connection. That's it.
So
But
does it
see,
like
I think really instead of talking about updates and patches, I mean, I think we're more focused on like, should you have to pay for DLC, or what exactly sets the price of DLC? I mean, you have things like The Witcher 3, which had amazing DLCs that
And
almost
I got
created a
all for
whole new
free.
game. Yeah, and I mean, they almost expand the game by
Oh,
what
I
20,
love the
30
company that
hours.
made it.
So and then even that, they had free DLCs they put out, pretty much as fan service, alternate costumes or missions that really drive home, like, the fact of a DLC, when you pay for it, should add something to the experience, unlike just completely cosmetic DLCs, like for Watch Dogs 2 or stuff like that, where you gotta
Well, I don't
shell
think
out,
that's
like
always a problem.
horse armor.
The all cosmetics. I remember back in the day when Black Ops 2 was really popular. No one really complained about the cosmetics for that game. It's just a minor little thing.
I dig it.
I think when it's at such a small degree, it's much less of a problem.
I don't know, man. I think that those big story expansions like Anthony's talking about with The Witcher, I know like a lot of other games did that, like Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. Like they added entire new areas to the game. They added new weapons and stuff. It really added like a whole new side to the
Oh
game.
yeah, yeah. Have
They
you
could
guys
have.
ever played the Elder Scrolls Oblivion Shivering Islands
No, I
expansion?
haven't.
I hate to cut into you there, but I think it's similar to what you're about to tell us about.
I can edit it
It
out later.
adds a
It's fine.
whole like new map. Same thing with Skyrim, the Dragonborn DLC. Great times. I think things like that are definitely worth the money.
Yeah, but I mean, look at while you bring up Skyrim, I mean, look at the Hearthfire DLC. I mean, it allows you to build houses, and I mean, it's more or less a busy task, and it's still the same price as, something that adds new shouts and completely new gameplay elements you would never even thought of in a base game. I mean, how
Yeah,
can you really
yeah.
compare those two for the same price when one is essentially just busy work, extending the game hours for what 2 3 hours it's just you can't compare the two when one's story rich and the other one's just busy work.
I think the question comes down to what people are willing to pay for in terms of like whether or not the company can make money off of that. Like, do you think that those busy work type things should be added to the game? like via DLC or just
If I
via
love
a
a game
patch?
enough, honestly, that'll satisfy me a little bit. Like if I could squeeze any more story out of Metal Gear Solid 3 or Metal Gear Solid
Hmm.
5, I mean, I'd love it. Even just something small like find the MacGuffin or something like that. It just when you love a game like that, even busy work
Hmm.
feels really special.
But that's like a part of the story that adds character to it. Should that be part of the game so that everybody can experience that? Or should it be locked behind that DLC paywall?
I think personally it depends on how much it adds. I mean, Caleb was saying with Metal Gear Solid 3, and if there was something that added a little bit of story to it, maybe it was busy work, but you got maybe voice lines or something like that. I think it could be justified being behind that paywall for a very small amount of money. But
Hmm.
when you're charging, $10 to $15 for something that is just maybe, let's say, like Kingdom Hearts, like they have a bunch of busy work stuff in it as far as just finding one random little thing or something like
Oh
that.
yeah.
I mean, do you really want to pay $10 for something like that and then maybe get one cutscene out of it? I
Well,
just think that it's a quality of the DLC that really needs to be raised if it's going to be considered a DLC rather than an update.
I
I
think it
think.
goes even further than that. I think it's the business model that we're coming to when it comes to game developers and publishing companies.
Oh yeah.
They want to squeeze every last dollar they can out of a purchase because I guess they think $60 for a full price game isn't enough profit when you sell a million copies. But anyway, I think that's mainly what it is. I mean, they could release those small busy work quests as free DLC, free patch for everybody. I mean, obviously that's the ideal situation, but I mean,
I
Well,
think
I mean,
that.
I think the way to kind of look at it is if they release that where they maybe put a bit more work into it than what we've seen in some other games, y- it will encourage people to buy the larger DLCs. I mean, even when it comes to a large DLC that may add stuff, I mean, look at Destiny 2 or even the original Destiny with the first two expansion packs. I mean, those two honestly were jokes. I mean, you're looking at like a $10 to $15 increase in the price. So you're looking at like a $75 game now for maybe one line of missions that's going to take you 2 hours to complete. I mean, what's the point of paying that extra 25% increase in the game to get 2 extra hours out of it? I mean, I don't see the point in that.
I really think that a lot of the benefit of DLCs is hidden behind the actual price. Like for example, when you're trying to sell a game, you're trying to sell it to as many people as possible, and not all those people are going to play through the game. Not all those people want those extra voice lines, but you can still produce like a good product for them. But with that DLC, you can give something extra to the other players and whatnot, and that allows you to lower the price of the original game and still make up for like the man hours that you had on like the programming team, the voice acting team, the modelers, etc. That all worked on the DLC stuff as well as the game. It's really like a way to add more revenue to a product so that you can get the same money for the game that you can release at a lower price, and you can serve both like the dedicated community and newer players. It lets them reach like a wider audience.
But see, I don't think that's really how it is. I mean, if you look at some of the DLCs that come out with games, um, I'm just going to use Destiny again for an example with the first three expansions, House of Wolves. I can't remember what the other one is with the Hive Mind, and then the Taken King. I mean, those three felt like they should have been a part of the original game. I mean, I think what's really happening now with certain companies like Bungie is they almost take a full game and then split it up into separate parts and then try to sell the entire game to you in different parts, bumping up the price, to 80, $90. I mean, I don't think that's right.
I think it really does depend on company, and I think we're seeing three different models that arise. You've got companies that add like different components to the game, like that house building we talked about earlier, or like base building in Fallout 4 in the DLC, and you've got places that add story and stuff. That's a separate model. And you've got people that take advantage of that. But the really interesting part for me is the hybrid model in the middle, where not only do you add in new mechanics and stuff through DLC, but you also add it in through free stuff. And if you take a look at something like Stellaris, where you have, say, the Utopia update, every single update that's major from the Stellaris developer team they release both a free copy and they release a DLC copy, where the free is sort of like an appetizer to it, and you can get more stuff if you do buy the DLC, but it's completely optional. And I think in games like that, it really does work out well.
And see, I think that's kind of when buying a DLC, I feel almost as if you need to be able to see what you're buying because with a lot of the DLCs, it's very vague um, rhetoric that they use to describe it. Such as the Dragonborn DLC. I mean, they tell you you're going to Solstein. They don't tell you what's happening there, any idea of what's going on. It just so you don't really know what experience you're paying for. You're just hoping that it's good. If they were to release a patch that allow you to maybe see the DLC or even a demo that would allow you to see the DLC, um, you would be able to make a rightful judgment whether you would think that this is worth paying for or not.
I kind of like that. That'd be a good idea. I don't know. I feel like that's a mixture between a marketing thing and trying to avoid going to the mobile grounds where you add a feature but you don't allow people to fully experience it by locking behind a paywall.
Well, guys, moving on just a little bit. What do you guys think of games with like paid demos? I mean, the first example that comes to my mind is like kind of the prequel to Metal Gear Solid 5 that came a couple years earlier. Ground Zeroes. $15, you get one mission with just some secrets hidden through it. I mean, I love the franchise and I love Hideo Kojima. I just think that was a bad idea.
I think paid demo is something that's really like a hyperbole. Fuck, not a hyperbole. I think that the whole concept of a paid demo is sort of like an oxymoron. It just sort of contradicts itself. I mean, the whole point of a demo is so that you can get a sample of something without having to pay like an amount of money. And while like the demos do reduce the amount of money, I still feel like you should have something free that people can try out.
Because sometimes, I mean, if there's a little kid that wants to buy your game and they don't have money, it's like that's the only way they're going to get even a taste of it. I mean, I remember when I was 12, 13, I used to play the Minecraft Pocket Edition demo on my grandma's phone all the time.
Yeah, and I mean,
Maybe-
for one example, the PlayStation VR, when I purchased it, it came with a VR playroom demo that allowed you to try out a lot of the different games that were um, featured during that time. And this really allowed you to kind of see what you were getting yourself into and what really was available at the time. And off of playing through some of those and looking at them, I did purchase quite a few of them just because they had a interesting feel to them. And I think that's kind of what needs to come back, allowing you to see what you're buying before you actually fully commit to buying it. Because I mean, a lot of people who play video games, especially now, are younger. They may not have a job, or they may have a low paying job as far as minimum wage. I mean, they have to be able to spend their money appropriately on what they're buying.
I agree. I feel like those demos really do offer a lot. What do you normally have inside those demos? Is it just one mission like you was talking about with Metal Gear Solid 3, I think you said? Or is it Condition Zero?
Yeah, it's Ground Zero.
Ah, yeah, Ground Zero.
Well, for those examples, they were all completely different types of games. I mean, you had some. I remember one of them was called Moss, which was a story story-driven game. So you saw a part of it that was actually kind of quite a bit into the game once you actually started playing it. You saw a completely like solid level. A part of it allows you to interact with things and things like that. So it showed you what you were playing for by putting you through the actual level of the game. Another one was Battle Zones, which was a tank VR game that you actually put on the headset and acted as if you were driving a tank. That puts you through a computer generated simulation of what it was like to play the game, having enemies attack you and things like that.
Hmm.
So it showed you the mechanics of the game, how it was, how it played. And since it wasn't story driven and it was also online based and AI based, you basically got to play it, kind of free
Hmm.
for a little bit. But if you wanted more depth to it, more tanks, more weapons, more things you were able to mess around with, you bought the entire game. So, like, that's what I mean is kind of like the Stellaris model where they give you a free taste of what it is, but if you would like it more, if you really
Mhm.
enjoyed that part, you were able to buy it. And I think that's really the way the DLCs should be. Is it should allow you to see what you're getting yourself into beforehand.
Mhm. I definitely get you. So how do you separate what you're going to have in that demo versus what you're going to have in the game? Do you strip down different game mechanics for the demos, or do you say publish like one mission or say a tutorial in the demo, and then have the actual game feature like the full experience? Or how do you separate what you have in the demo from the actual game?
I think it completely depends on what type of game you're playing. If you're playing like a 4E game like Stellaris, I could see you having just a basic timer. You can play as long as, let's say,
It's like a
a
time
timer of
trial.
like, yeah, exactly. Like you have, let's say, 2.5 hours. You can play a full game. Nothing held back. It's all the mechanics and everything like that. But you can only play for so long. So
Hmm.
obviously, if you'd like to continue the run and actually enjoy it, you would have to purchase the full game. And doing it, I remember Roller Coaster Tycoon quite a while actually did that. I think you were available to play it for, I want to say, 5 hours,
Hmm.
and it was everything. It was the entire game, but you were only allowed to play it for that long. I remember Nintendo eShop on the 3DS did something very similar with that too, where you were only allowed to open the game a certain amount of times. I believe it was 30. So
Mm.
theoretically, you could just keep playing it forever as long as you never closed that program. But it allowed you to actually play through it and learn mechanics, how it works, and what you're actually doing in the game.
Okay, I do like that. So if it were up to you, would you include the tutorial time inside of that, or would you separate that timer and then keep track of like how much time they spent in the tutorial versus the game and only limit the gameplay?
I would think that the tutorial time should be included. I mean, there's still it's still part of the game. Even if you were to not use the demo and just buy the game, that tutorial time would still be a part of the game experience. So
Okay,
I would say the tutorial is included into it.
okay, that's a good opinion. What do you think, Caleb?
Oh, what about the contents of a demo?
Hmm.
I got caught up just listening. I think really it should just give you good taste what the game's all about. I know that sounds generic, but
Malcolm, we haven't heard from you uh, on this matter. What do you think? What would you want to see personally in a demo?
oh, I'm sorry. Did I forget to press my push to talk key?
No, you're good, dude. You're good.
Oh, God. Okay.
If there's anything awkward like this, I can just trim it out later. It's cool. I know I
Okay.
interrupted you
Okay.
guys a few times. I'll trim that out
Malcolm,
too. We'll probably edit
push
out
to
the
talk.
section where we're trying to get Malcolm.
We should make a Malcolm soundboard, and I'll just edit in noises for him.
Malcolm, hello. Should we just move on?
I think we should, yeah. I'll cut this out later. Hold on.
We should.
Intermission.
We've been recording for 18, 19 minutes now. When do you guys want to cut this off?
I think
That's
we'll just see until it ends naturally.
Whenever.
Okay.
Malcolm.
Hi,
Uh,
Malcolm.
didn't forget
I've
your
been here.
push to talk key, did you?
Oh,
No, I just don't know what to say.
Yeah, me neither. I was kind of at a loss for words too. I was like, wow, I
I put you on the spot. Sorry.
was just thinking,
well, do we want to go ahead and resume? Like,
yeah,
okay.
Sure.
we're in it, man. We can leave parts of
So
this in.
yeah. So Chris, uh, you've been kind of the one asking questions and seeing what we think about the demos. What do you think you would personally want to see in a demo?
I honestly like the idea of having the tutorial be the demo. And that's what Factorio did. I remember that. It's a $30 game on Steam, and it never, ever goes on sale. And I was really iffy about buying it. But I tried out that demo. I realized I really kind of like this. And it was sort of limited, but I did get like a taste for how the game was like. Um, I don't know if I want to go with the time trial so much because I think that really depends on the game. And while they can change that for each developer, again, I just feel like that really depends on like the pace of the player. Like for example, I have this one friend. She has these absolutely horrible headaches, so it really helps her out to have these slow-based games where she can take her time, pause it, etc. So she tends to play stuff like 4X games and management games like City Skylines. And for that kind of thing, it's hard to place like a timer on that because depending on how you play and the rate at which you play, especially since you can change like the rate at which time is passing in those games, then you can't really put that time trial on it. I think having the tutorial or something there really allows you to add like a block of story or time to do that. Or even just doing something like the first mission, like how Caleb mentioned earlier with Metal Gear Ground Zero.
And I definitely think that is a problem with putting demos into games and things like that. I mean, with the genre of games, I mean, expanding so much, especially in these last few years. I mean, everything's gotten more specific. It's no longer a RPG, it's a roguelike game. It's no longer an action game, it's an action adventure game. Everything's more specified to really be able to nail down a certain type of demographic. I definitely think that if someone is trying to get into that genre, they're not going to really understand how to play it and things like
Hmm.
that. So putting a timer on certain games is definitely going to be difficult. But when you have something like a 4X game or a management game like City Skylines, I don't really see any other way to do it other than to put a timer on it because you can't just have the tutorial mission because that's not going to really show you what the game is about because
Hmm.
it's not going to hold your hand for all of it. So I feel like a little bit of time after that would be nice. And even if you were to just have the tutorial, now you're kind of bordering on the um, Clash of Clans style games when you would play the demos for those on the ads or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, that doesn't appeal to me. If anything, it drives off the game because they're trying to convince people so hard to play the game by just teaching them how to play it anyways. So being able for them to make their own decisions and stuff like that, I think that would be a good thing.
I think it's really about how those mobile games feel obnoxious in the way they cut you off. Like in the middle of you doing something, they say, "Hey, your time's over. Pay if you want more." And while that might be a good marketing strategy, it's kind of obnoxious. I think the really big thing that these demos offer over that is a way to smoothly transition it to an end. Like if you do say the end of the first mission, each and every mission you're going to have like the setup, you're going to have the action, etc. It's going to be like its own story. It really is its own story. So you've got like that ending. It doesn't feel like you're getting cut off in the middle of a thought. If you bring it to like a smooth transition like that, then I think you can effectively do that. And I think that's how you can do that sort of thing like a time trial without it being rough. So let's say for example, you allow the player to play as much as they want until they get a certain stage in the game. So if we're using Factorio, you can play as much Factorio as you want until you research green science. That gives you like a that gives you a way to experience the beginning of the game. You get like your conveyor belts and stuff. You've got your turrets. You get a base taste for everything, but you've also got a point where it cuts you off. It just really needs to be a way to warn the player about when that's going to happen, so they don't feel interrupted.
Well,
Yeah,
I think that
sorry,
goes
go ahead.
to that goes right to another thing that I really enjoy about some demos. I've there's been a few where you can maybe do like one stage of a game, and you can continue your progress in the actual game. Can pick up right where you left off.
Okay,
I
so
just think
like
that's
if
a
it
great
was
idea.
Mario or something, and you could say play 5 levels, and if you buy the actual game, then you continue from there.
Yeah,
Okay,
I mean, I
yeah.
don't think it would get everybody, but like I'm not sure how that would improve sales. But I mean, it's just a
Well,
cool
and
thing to do.
I definitely think that that is a aspect that we haven't really touched on. I mean, obviously these would be great for a consumer standpoint, but looking at a business model, I don't exactly know if a demo is the right way to go. I mean, the cost of games is going up and up. I mean, even though indie games are definitely taking it out, I think that's even more of a fact. I mean, these people, most of them don't get paid for what they make and something like that. So making a demo and implementing those uh, structures like a time demo or a trigger that stops the game, I definitely think that is more consuming on resources. So I can understand why games wouldn't do that. But for stuff like AAA games like Horizon Zero Dawn or even Sekiro that just recently come out, I definitely think that there should be a way to implement that when you have so many resources. And like you said with Factorio, the game never goes on sale. So people are allowed to play the demo, they're able to experience it. So they can see that the $30 price tag is definitely justified for that game. So allowing people to experience it means you don't have to cut costs with big sales and stuff like that because people are going to be willing to pay the $60 for it. Or if you were to do it with a DLC, the $15-20 you would charge for the DLC, I think in the long run for AAA games, it would be able to improve sales because they wouldn't have to worry about cutting prices on games to be able to essentially trick people into buying them.
Hmm. I get what you're saying. I kind of want to change something about what you said earlier, at least challenge you on this. You said that it is like a significant increase to cost in, say, making a demo versus not having one, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I think it really depends on the demo because if you've already got this game that you've developed, all you really need to do is chop like a bit of it off and put it here. You've already got maps that you can use for this. You've already got the game mechanics programmed. It's not like you're starting from scratch. It's just like cutting off a piece of the dish and putting on like a sample tray. If you've got like a special level or something for the demo, then it would cost a bit more because you'd have to bring in like writers and stuff and new models, etc. But if you just take like a part of the game, then I think you really aren't adding much more cost to it at all. And I think it would increase sales a lot because, like you said, it would allow people to try it out before they buy it. And there's nothing really better to convince you to buy a game than actually playing it.
I definitely see what you're talking about like that, and I made that in reference to indie developers. I mean, for
Hmm.
AAA titles, they have the manpower and resources, the writers, and things like that to be able to do it. But you're also not looking at the other monetary costs that come with creating a demo. You're looking at another license for a game. You're looking at copywriting and being able to do a demo for that game. You're also, if let's say you were using a Greenlight project or something like that, you're going to be looking at having that being greenlit as well as something else. So there's more to it than just actual creation of the game. You're looking at legal and business sense to it too. For a AAA company, that's not that big of a deal considering how they have in-house lawyers,
Hmm.
in-house notaries that are able to copyright this for you. But for an indie developer that's doing it by themselves, it's a lot of work even to just get a copyright or get something like that for just one thing, let alone two.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't even think of it like that. That's a really good way to look at that. So the big thing that I'm always looking for when it comes to demos is trying to figure out whether or not I like the game and whether or not I can even run the game. And that's what turns me off the most about these paid demos is that if I'm just trying to get a sense of whether or not my computer can actually handle this game and maybe like the minimum specimen requirements in the Steam page aren't being specific enough or they're not applying well to me, then there's really not another way to test it out without having to pay the full price. And depending on where you buy games from, you can't always get a refund.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at something like Steam, I remember you had a very specific problem with Fallout 3.
Hmm.
Um, you were running Linux at the time, correct?
No, actually, I was running Windows 10, and there's an issue with Fallout 3 running on Windows 10. You have to actually download mods just to get it to work with it, and it tricks it into thinking it's running on Vista or something. I'm
Yeah.
not entirely sure how it works, but yeah,
So
continue.
I mean, you had the browser open, or sorry, the launcher open, which added to your total game time for it,
Hmm.
which made it ineligible for a refund because you had more than 2 hours on it, as it was purchased on Steam. So I mean, this is a game that you already bought. You were testing it out to make sure it ran and something like that. And I personally, I think the Steam refund policy is really good for a testing purposes kind of situation. So
Hmm.
when you run something like that and you're just simply trying to get it to work and it becomes invalid. Now, luckily, it did work out for you as that did become a very good game that you enjoyed. But when it's something, let's say like a AAA game, just for instance, you're getting into Dark Souls for the first time. Now, you may not like the challenge that Dark Souls hands out. Personally, I'm not a big fan of it. I enjoy the mechanics and everything, but I'm not a big fan of that hard difficulty of games.
Mhm.
So you're running into that problem of just trying to get it to work, just testing it out. And something like this happens, there's no one you can contact. Now, if there was a demo for this game, there would be no problem with it. You would just be able to play the demo, even if it was $1 or 2. Because I can understand wanting to charge something for a demo, but if it's a low amount like that, I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah, I get you.
I definitely think that would be able to be better than spending $60 for a game and then turning out you may not even be able to run it, you may not enjoy it. It's just not consumer friendly when it comes to points like that.
hmm I definitely think I do agree with you there. There needs to be a way for people to test out the unique experience the game has, because honestly, every single game is its own unique experience, unless it's just one of those ripoffs that you find, which I mean they do exist.
And I
But
mean, I definitely think that this specifically is more of a PC problem. I mean, obviously, you're buying a PlayStation game, it's going to work on the console. And unless there's a problem with the actual hardware, in which case you can get a replacement, no problem.
mhm,
That's not an issue, but it will work. But for people who run on PC, which are a very large amount of uh, video game players due to the customizability of a PC game, it just it's kind of disheartening to buy a new game like that for full price and not be able to test it out or even have any idea if it's going to work.
mhm. Yeah, it is a uniquely PC problem. I think it's worth it, but that's a topic for another day. I should write that down.
PC Masters.
Is there anything else you guys want to bring up? I can cut this part out later.
Caleb's actually gone right now. Malcolm, is there anything you'd like to say?
Thank you for your time.
Okay. While I'm gonna be editing this part out, if there's anything you guys want to like segue like a topic to, we can do that.
Okay.
All right. Anything you want to add, Caleb?
No, not really.
I mean, we
Okay.
did bring up mobile games. How long have we been recording right now?
32 minutes, but I'm gonna trim out like I'd say maybe 2 minutes of this
Okay,
in total.
well, we did bring up mobile games. Do we want to go and switch over to that topic?
I think we should say that for the PC versus console versus mobile talk later.
So you guys think 30 minutes is good for episode 0?
Yeah, I actually do.
Okay, Caleb, do you want to do an outro?
I don't know.
All right. Well, you've got a bit to think of it.
Okay.
Anyways, guys, this has been Horseflies and Hand Grenades. We're doing this as a bit of a demo run, so maybe you like it, maybe you don't. Give us some feedback. And yeah, I think that's about it for episode 0.
Have a nice day.
See ya.
Later.
Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
God damn it.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. And 3, 2, 1.